Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Xbox Roundtable TXR, the place to be to kick back, relax, and end off the week right. I'm your host, the ever handsome Invader, and we've got a really awesome show lined up for you. It's been a couple of weeks since we last talked on the show, and believe me, the panel is itching just to dive into the topics, the latest news, and releases in the gaming industry. So without further notice, let's introduce the panel. Mr. Downer, how's it going, bud?
I don't know about handsome, man, but how you doing?
What? I can introduce myself like that?
Actually, I seen a picture of you. You're pretty handsome.
Hey, that is the wrong podcast for that.
Ooh la la. So how you doing, Mr. Downer, Mr. Jeremy Downer? What's new and exciting?
I'm doing good, man. Just I'm babysitting today. Wife's working finally. I kicked her out. I said, you got to get a job. I can't be doing it by myself. So I kicked her out.
She's probably happy.
Yeah, she's probably happy.
To get away from you. Hell yeah.
The kids are happy.
All right. Southbound, how are you been, bud?
I've been all right, my friend. Just it's been a couple weeks, so like you said, itching to get back to spreading some Xbox knowledge and well, not really knowledge, but just my opinion on certain stuff. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Exactly. Tim Dog, what have you been up to, bud? Doing good?
Yeah, just same old. Getting through the winter, getting close to spring. Looking forward to it. Happy to be here, talking the latest, greatest Xbox news on TXR.
Got that right. Megatron, my sick metallic buddy. You doing all right?
I'm trying to hang in there, man. Swollen throat, coughing like crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna try to hang in there for the show, man. Just
don't laugh, because if you laugh, you're gonna cough.
Right?
Oh my god.
Everyone, show solidarity and support for Megatron. Maybe give him some NyQuil before the end of the show. And of course, Agent Bartram is not with us at the moment. He's running a bit late. He's collecting some orbs at the moment, but he should be with us shortly. And now I can't wait to get into the topics, guys. It has been a couple of weeks, so hey, we're all itching to get back into it. And on to the first topic, a game that, hey, we've been waiting for what seems like forever now, and it's finally released. Crackdown 3. It's out now, and it's getting a lot of attention for various reasons. It's getting a lot of mixed reviews from the media outlets. While, hey, I've been seeing a lot of just the everyday gamer being a little more positive about it. Panel members, what are your thoughts on the game? It's finally out there.
Why don't you start with Jeremy? He's the negative, so let
you
him...
mean it?
Wait. I'm not gonna sit here and bash the game. I've been bashing it for 3 years, so I'm not gonna do it. But after 5 years, is this acceptable? I mean, after 5 years, is it acceptable? That's what I'm asking.
I'm having fun with it. I
don't get his fucking issue with it. Like, really?
All right. So, I mean, everything just feels last gen to me. I mean, the play mechanics, the platforming, they brought nothing new in terms of storytelling to the game. No character development. I wanted something new. I wanted.
But yeah, you love a remake of Resident Evil 2.
Oh my! Have you played that game?
No,
Sal.
I don't like the Resident Evil series.
Sal, have you played Resident Evil 2?
We got something new, man.
Oh
we got Terry Crews. We got his personality. We got
he was in the very first. He was in the very first part of the game. He's not even the later part of the game. I don't know. It seems like they started off good with the story. I liked the whole initial part of it, and it was just, I don't know. I mean, it brings me to my.
You can't even put your finger on it, but yeah, you're back.
Is it fun? Is it fun, Jeremy? Is it fun at all?
You know what?
Are you having any?
Yeah, it's 10 minutes. Okay, it's fun, but I can't be doing that for X
people
amount of
are giving
hours,
it
10,
scores. People are giving it 3s and 2s. I mean, that's like those are the scores you give broken games. That game to me deserves higher than that. To me, 6 are better, but I mean, it's all opinion based. Everyone's got their own opinion. You have your right, but Some of this stuff is just way too.
I mean, the scores itself, they were a little low. Okay, I would have gave it maybe a 7. But in terms of,
I'd be completely happy with a 7.
Okay, I mean, I was happy with the game because it feels like Crackdown. It's a Crackdown game. But in terms of like play mechanics, level design, they needed more. They needed more to it. And I don't know what exactly.
It's not GTA, dude.
I know it's not, but they could have added something. I would have scrapped multiplayer and added cloud destruction in single player. That's what I would have done. And I mean, whatever you need.
They could have.
You know that.
If they could have done it.
Listen, not to interrupt you, but in my opinion, I understand where you're coming from 100%. The game was, widely hyped in the beginning by Microsoft. You had people like me who were all totally on the, cloud deal, thinking that it was, what they said, and what they showed, what didn't match up on the multiplayer. You can definitely say it was a downgrade. It's still pretty cool what they're doing. But just the overall game, it feels like in my opinion, it feels like a $40 game. It doesn't feel like a AAA $60, heavy hitting, blockbuster game. It's just not on that level. The developer's not on that level to produce a game that way. In my opinion, I'm still playing and I'm going to review it, but I can see why the scores are where it is. I could see 6s. I could see 7s. The way they start the game, they kind of started off at the worst possible area. Graphically, the story, like Jeremy says, is it's just there. It's just it doesn't feel like it has anything behind it. It's just put there so you can play your game. It's not put there so you could get into the world.
Right, exactly.
You're right. You feel like you're just dropped into a part of the map and then kind of like, oh, there you go, do your thing.
And once you power up, though, here's another thing: is you start off non-powered, and then they kind of tutorialize the way your first 30 minutes is. It's kind of old gen or last gen type, tutorial
hand holding.
The hand holding, like, hey, jump. But the game picks up when you get to like 3 and 4, when you start to get to those levels on your, on your special abilities, then the game really starts to kind of kick off. But, to say this game doesn't have its problems, it has problems, and it kind of, you can go after it if you want. It's acceptable to say, it's mediocre to some people, but overall, this is a game that if they didn't have cancels, I think would have been canceled or looked at to the point where Microsoft in the past has said they, didn't want to release those other games because they don't want to be associated with the quality game that comes out that way. And that's kind of the kicker here is that that's exactly what happened here. You don't want to get a bad reputation making games or being a second-rate developer or publisher. And Microsoft is teetering that line right now. And that's the big reason why it's getting so much hate. Now, obviously, we know they have something in there to fix this, but it's seeing believing, and just the fanboys are all over it, and they're gonna take their shots. Media is all over it. They're gonna take their shots. It is what it is. They just gotta kind of get it out, and move on, and put out a quality game after this.
Now, I've played about just a couple hours into it. I haven't really had a lot of time to delve into it, really explore. But first of all, thank you. Big shout out to Megatron for giving me a Game Pass because I was able to play Crackdown using Game Pass. So thank you very much, my friend.
No problem.
I'm very grateful for that. But yeah,
nice, Megatron, nice.
Yeah, he's a nice fella.
Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good guy right there. But honestly though, I've been enjoying what I've been playing. With all the mixed comments and reviews for it, I really wanted to try it out. And I like the general world of it. I do have my gripes. Like, I do think they could have done more with like just the actual activity going on in the streets, or even some of the objectives too. It's like you go take out this group of bad guys. There's only a couple of them at a certain location. They don't really seem difficult to take out. But I do like the world in general. It's very colorful.
You know, the world in general in Crackdown is very good. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
oh, no, go ahead.
It's you know, level progression. So it starts off obviously level 0, and the levels are designed to where once you start leveling up, you can do more. And once you get to level 5, then that's when you get really vertical inside the game, and you know, the explosions and gunplay and everything kind of feels out during that time. And I like that aspect of Crackdown. I just wish that there was a lot more to it. Like, I don't know. I mean, you've played 1 and 2. It's the same game. It literally is the same game.
Well, yeah, but what did you expect? That's what I understand. People want a Crackdown game, but they don't want a Crackdown game. It's
maybe more evolution, kind of like better. I mean, the graphics are good in some areas, but there's other areas where it's kind of blocky, and the HDR is good, but like, if you put my opinion is, if you put Coalition, let's just say they wanted to go with Crackdown 4, and they put Coalition on it, and they gave it 3 years of development time, and you know, they go after it. I think definitely the single player game would be pretty much on a different level, and it would be much improved. This just kind of feels like, you know, the developer Sumo Digital took the original, they spruced it up, but they didn't really evolve it, and that's unfortunately. I mean, the weapons are pretty cool. That's the feeling I get from it. Now, I don't really, you know, think the game is horrible. It just came out at the wrong time. It just came out the wrong time, and at a time where Xbox hasn't really pushed out a AAA exclusive where you're like, wow. And then you look at the competition. You have, you know, Nintendo doing it. You have Nintendo. You have Spider-Man. You have Metro. Like, the graphics on Metro are just unbelievable. It's just kind of get caught out there, but again, I do see a lot of people having fun with it, and I think that's kind of why you have this thing on Twitter where you see like Sony guys saying, you know, Xbox guys, they should ask for more. You know, they're accepting, and I don't think that's the case, because in 2017, I know for myself personally, I know from a lot of people, Xbox fans were all over Microsoft for getting studios, or we're the hell out of here. And you know what happened since then. So this is a part of the old era that I think Phil really loved the game, and he really was hyped for it. It just did not come together, and it didn't come together on the grand scale like they envisioned. So that's where it is. That's why there's so much hoopla about it, is because, you know, you have all those factors, and then, you know, the game it's vulnerable to criticism. Like, it's funny, people making fun of the graphics, but I see the same people then hyping Fortnite graphics, or they're hyping, you know, some art design on a game that's the similar way. There is good-looking parts of Crackdown, but then there's also parts where you can cherry pick and say, hey, this game looks like it's from 2008, you know. And it is what it is. You know, the reviewers really were honest about it, hard on it. Ryan was, you know, extremely hard on it. And he's been outspoken about it. But, you know, I can understand some of his gripes. And I'm not going to say that he can't have that. I don't think that some of the way he came across, you know, with talking about
attacking the community was wrong.
You know, this is a guy who says he has the #1 Xbox podcast, and you know, you like to say that, but you know, and you do with that type of stuff, when you say that type of thing, you kind of alienate yourself, you know. And you know, in my opinion, you know, him and other reviewers did have a right to kind of go after the game. You can't say that just because it's fun that you could just, you know, override anything. But it was just the game overall in itself was just caught out there, and and you know, it got hit hard. I mean, the game's not selling. I mean, the sales in UK were horrendous today. I think on
ready for Game Pass.
You know, even our most played, I don't think it's one of the most played. I don't think it's one of the most. It's just a game that really, you know, and I think Microsoft knew it too. They didn't have TV spots. They didn't, you know, Mikey Barris talking about Anthem. Other guys are playing different games. Nobody's talking about the game itself. And you know, not that they should, but you know, there wasn't excitement. I think that they did know what they had on their hands.
Well, and Tim, it is interesting though. Sorry to cut you off, but it is interesting because I've heard the term pillar, like another pillar to the Xbox stable, being brought up with Crackdown and how they've talked about it recently, but then they haven't necessarily shown the marketing support for it, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's just interesting how they view it.
There was nothing behind it because they kind of knew. You know, if they had themselves a masterpiece, I'm sure they would be singing from the high praises. And I think that while, you know, I'm not speaking for Microsoft, but I'm just saying I think that they do know that the criticism's there, and you know, they're kind of, you know, they're not saying it's acceptable. I'm sure that they, you know, want to do better than this, and I do think that in the future it will.
It's a telltale sign that Phil ain't talking about it either.
Well, he tweeted
he spoke about it some. He spoke about it something. I mean, as far as marketing, they did have the Game Pass thing with Terry Crews, and that's been fun to watch. I've enjoyed the little stuff that they have on Twitter.
Well, he's great. He's charismatic.
I love Terry.
Good guy.
I had a chance to meet him a few times. It was a while ago, probably about 15 years ago. He used to shop in the market I used to work at when I was a meat and seafood manager. And he came in and he'd purchase some stuff, and that's the place he'd shop. And he'd bring his kids in, and nice guy. I mean, down to earth guy, really sociable, and he's just overall a great person. So, you know, my hat's off to Terry.
What do you guys say?
You're trying to sell your meat?
Yes.
But so everybody's tried, or at least a sample of the campaign. How do you guys feel about the multiplayer aspect to it? I know I just touched on it briefly, but do you guys think that it was kind of a leftover? Should they have just...
They should
like
how could you call it multiplayer if you can't play, you know, co-op with your friends?
They're working on it, right? I haven't had a chance to play the multiplayer, so
yeah, I haven't played it either.
I haven't played it yet.
I played it on the test, and I was impressed with it. But when I heard that they didn't have parties, I was like, I'm not playing that until they have it where I can play with my friends and stream it, and you know, be in the same game with them, because the game itself. The tech test, I was impressed. The tech is pretty cool, and if that, you know, in the future, you know, gets handled, you know, with more power and things of that nature, I can see that technology being pretty cool. It's definitely pretty cool. There's definitely parts where it's pretty insane, but it didn't come together. I think that the way they showed it originally at E3 2015. But I think there was a hostess of problems to why that happened. Next gen, I would like to see this tech being used in other games. I don't want to say I never want to see this tech anymore, because there are parts of it that are cool. But you know, they you know, had an issue with the parties, and that really put a damper on the multiplayer. Nobody is going to say that's acceptable, and nobody's going to even deal with it, because it's just at that point, it's like a demo of a multiplayer game. It's not even a real multiplayer game, like I believe South said.
I'm looking at the chat. Maka's giving it a 6 out of 10. I'm looking at Gopher. He said 6 out of 10 as far as that. And
I agree with that.
That's where I'm at.
But it comes with the messaging too. If you know beforehand that it's not going to be released, or that you're not going to be able to play with friends, you got to have the messaging out there so it just blows over and not create a firestorm like it did, you know, on the internet a day before, 2 days, 3 days before launch.
Yeah, that did rub me wrong with a lot
me?
of people. Yeah, that's crazy. That's it should have included multiplayer.
Yeah, a lot of their talk about transparency, comes into question when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, well, it's weird.
It looks like people not even talking about it. The worst thing you can do if you're in that position is just draw. Now they did put up a video like 3 days ago or 2 days ago, but like there was no clear cut answer when that happened. There was, I think Joe Staten put a tweet up, but yeah, the transparency on that was horrible. That kind of stuff shouldn't really happen. They said why we couldn't do it, or just delay the multiplayer in that case for 2 weeks or what. I don't know. I don't know how you would have went about it, but you just can't act like there's not a problem there.
Because let's be honest, they knew about this 6 months, at least 6 months ago, that it wasn't going to be working. So they should have kept everybody in the loop.
Yeah, but it's kind of bare bones, like the entire.
What they're using, though, the way they're using it it's not easy what they're doing. I think they're allocating different servers to different areas of the map, and it's all off the cloud. And it's not like what they're doing is in itself is pretty cool, but it's just it doesn't translate to wowing you to say, wow, that's like amazing. I think in the future it has that ability.
It does.
So you guys saying that it'll possibly be a Crackdown 4? Maybe
if there's a Crackdown 4
of the destructibility.
Well, I mean, right now the sales of Crackdown 3, I'm sure, are not going to push for a sequel. I mean, you're talking 4,000 units sold in UK.
What if they build something off the multiplayer? What if they build something off the multiplayer? I haven't played it yet, but like the destructibility aspect of it to me is just the most appealing thing.
Yeah, but you can also,
the story is over. I mean,
can also do things on the back end of it. Imagine Halo. Me and Tim were talking about this. Imagine Halo when you're fighting the Flood, and it's just thousands and thousands of enemies coming at you, pouring down like a mountain, and you guys are surrounded by like thousands of the Flood with 4 of your teammates trying to fight your way through it. And those are some of the things that the cloud could bring. It's just a matter of, I'm not a techie or anything, but it's a matter of implementing it and putting in the game. I'm sure you can do stuff like that with the cloud. It just hasn't been done yet.
Right, and it's its infancy. It's just starting. The tech is starting. What they're learning is starting. It looks like the multiplayer portion was shelved, and then they just rebuilt it out of nowhere, or built it like 3 years ago. It seems like when CloudGen did buy, when Epic did buy CloudGen, they just took their work and they said, you can learn off of some of it, or you can use what you can, but it was not like that demo that they showed. They showed buildings toppling over, smashing into other buildings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that. It wasn't that they were too ambitious. And
Peter said that they should have made a battle royale mode for the multiplayer, which I was getting ready to say, but I agree.
But if they would have, then they'd be like, oh, well, Apex just came out, just jumping on the bandwagon even more. No matter what they would have done, they would have got shit on.
That battle royale will last about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that they didn't go with a horde mode of sorts, or like a firefight mode. I thought that,
that's a good idea,
because they have the enemies for it. They have all kinds of different like enemy types throughout the world. You can get vehicles in there. Like, I'm just surprised that they didn't go that route. You can have the destructibility too, instead of just a standard team deathmatch stuff. Like, it just kind of like bare bones that way, unoriginal.
And I wish we got answers to this stuff. I wish there was some sort of communication saying, hey, this is why the cloud destruction wasn't implemented in single player. This is why friends, I just wish the messaging was better. And
there's so much secrecy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really need to be there. You could say, hey, this stuff might be, a little, complicated, but this is what's happening. We have such and such moving over here, and try to, break it down in layman's terms. But I think people would be more accepting. Otherwise, you just, you ignore a problem, and you just get eaten alive on social media, and it's just, you know, it's a vicious cycle, it seems, with them. They certain things with the messaging. Like, I always go back to xCloud. Like, xCloud, what was that? You just, like, because Project Google puts out their thing, you just react a week later, you put together this hastily made video, and you don't have any answers for anybody, and we're not allowed to ask you.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, like, you gotta be able to put your product out there and then speak about it 100% fully, and just, like, don't worry about the secrecy so much, because that secrecy really, it's not helping you. It's doing nothing. It's anything. It's just hurting you.
It's still not creating energy. It's still not creating excitement. And what's that show? Xbox. What's that? I don't even know what the show's called anymore. But they can do it with that show and just
inside Xbox.
Stuff. Yeah, inside Xbox, and utilize it that way. Instead, they rehash old stuff and they talk about nothing new and exciting. It's just a horrible show.
Well, I felt
it is pretty dry.
Show, they could do better with that show, but the last show I felt was their best show yet. But
they had a lot of interesting Halo stuff.
Yeah, even though that was the one part I didn't like, but everyone seemed to love it. But yeah, that type of stuff, I think that they can, you know, do better with inside Xbox for sure. But I do feel like the last show was a step in the right direction. But yeah, you're right. They do communicate with fans via Twitter and stuff, and they tweet here and there, but there has to be maybe a little bit of a better pipeline, become more straightforward or forthcoming about things, and be open to questions, and you know, not have this shred of
well, it just seems like they're embarrassing, and they're going hiding with their tail between their legs. Like, you know, hey, you know what you had on your hands, just own it, and then, you know, explain as best as you could. And go from there, you know, brush your hands, wipe your hands off with it, and you know, wait for the next release.
Absolutely. But, you know, we'll see how the game does in the next week or the next month. I'm definitely going to be playing more of it, and I'm sure you guys will delve into it a bit more. I'm enjoying what I'm playing of it, but we'll see how things go with that. But anyways, guys, moving on, let's get into another topic. So, in a very surprising move, Respawn Entertainment and EA released, just out of the blue, Apex Legends. And it's a free-to-play battle royale game set in the Titanfall universe. And within a week, it had 25 million unique players. Like, that's crazy across different platforms.
Hey, not bad for a $60 title, right, Tim?
Oh boy.
But you just don't see that kind of thing. And it was across everything pretty much. And guys, I'm asking you, what are your thoughts on the game, and have you been playing it? Are you enjoying it? How is it?
I've been playing it. I suck at it, but I still am having a good time while I'm sucking at it. So, but I played a few hours.
I was surprised on how much I liked it and how much I enjoyed it. I mean, it's set up like Fortnite, obviously, without the crafting and the building. But talking about PUBG style, intense, you know, fast paced combat, level design's great. It's very mobile, and it's just a good game. It has great characters, great weapons. It's fast. It's exciting. It has vehicles. I don't see any. Does it have vehicles? I don't see anybody using the vehicles.
No, I didn't see any vehicles.
I think they're going to be implemented later because they're there.
You know, hey, I just got to give
that's the downer version
credit.
Yeah.
Hey, Vincent Pella and all them, man, it's about time they got some credit for, you know, their names and their work, because Titanfall 1 and 2, they got shit all over for, and now this is like, the, you know, nobody's talking about PUBG or Fortnite very much.
Yeah, but look how they launched the game. Who's seen that coming? Did anybody?
What a great way to launch. That's a great way to launch a game. It's a great way to launch a game, and it creates buzz and excitement if it's good. If you have a good product, why not release it like that?
Well, like I said, look at now Vincent Pella is like the toast of the town all of a sudden. Like, you know, it's funny in the game industry, they don't remember your past failings. It's all about, you know, what have you done for me lately? If you know, no matter
IGN
what,
posting and trying to bash it, and all of a sudden retracting that statement, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, we love you. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's
well, the gaming industry in general is what have you done for me lately industry, and that's the way it is. I mean,
me, it's whatever's popular. You know,
exactly.
They're reacting.
Hearts and minds.
Well, this game
bandwagon.
Yeah, this game is going to be this is going to be the number one game. It's going to take over that Fortnite spot. For me, playing it, I have to say I'm intimidated by it. I know that if I go there, I'm going to get lit up. So I haven't played
actually,
it.
You know what? It's easy to pick up and start playing.
I know, really but the skill level.
Oh yeah, people are fucking amazing insane. Already. Yeah.
There's just like you have to find people. The skill level is just very, very high. It's and like when you play, you know, I was in a room with people playing it, and I was playing. I think Resident Evil 2, and they were playing it, and they were like, you know, you're 100% locked in, like talking like they were really in war, and that's that's how like the people are into it. So for me, I'm gonna play, but it's just one of those games where I always say they should have like a senior division of you know, gamers that just like aren't gonna be up to that level because you know. The level's like very high.
People with the arthritis in their fingers.
You know what? Apex brings Fortnite and PUBG, and it brings them together, and it molds well. It plays well. It's designed well. It's fast. It's furious. Like I said, and it's a great game.
Titanfall was a good shooter. Game. People just didn't like it. So you know, it just shows what they're good at, what they brought to Apex.
The second Titanfall you're referring to, right? Not the first one.
No, they did. There was some, but they did. The Titanfall did have a lot of people that loved it.
I thought both of them, honestly.
Right here.
Yeah, but there were detractors too. 2 should have done better than it did. 2 was kind of like, I felt like the marketing was bad or off, but the single player was like, well, that was like one of my best games that year. And it was just a game like it was a full-on multiplayer. So I felt like the messaging or whatever got caught up there, and that game kind of didn't get like South was saying, didn't get those guys didn't get the, you know, love that they should have deserved for making great games. And this game comes out and they just basically take over the video game world. You know,
I'll say this: I, as a Titanfall fan of 1 and 2, for different reasons, like it's interesting because I find this game, it's very competent. Like the shooting and the mechanics, they all run great. But this wasn't what I was necessarily expecting, because you would have thought that, okay, they'd come out with a proper, like a Titanfall 3, a next iteration of it, and they surprise everybody with a free-to-play game in the vein of, like you guys were saying, Fortnite, PUBG, Overwatch in a lot of ways with the hero characters. But to me, I really miss the Titans.
Well,
I really
miss
that world, you know?
Because now it's getting people talking about the next Titanfall game. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, maybe.
I would love to see another Titanfall.
Even though they hated Titanfall 2, now they're waiting for Titanfall 3 ever since Apex came out. I don't get it. It makes no sense. It's like Jeremy fucking infects the whole world.
What the hell?
It's the downer disease.
It's just a shame that like we have to have a free-to-play game to prop up the previous game, because apparently a lot of people are going back to Titanfall 2 now. Just be like, oh hey, yeah, I remember that. And I'll give it a try now.
Oh, you know what's actually better
doubled,
when you come back to it.
Wow.
Yeah, it doubled.
That's the first news I'm hearing. That's crazy.
Doubled in player count online.
Wow.
And it's amazing too, because again, this game, it was like announced the day of that it released, pretty much.
It was like 2 days prior. Yeah, it was.
That was
and
crazy.
they were super secretive about it. And you know, EA likes to prop up their games well in advance, and you know, give them all kinds of marketing. And yeah, this just came out of nowhere. And you know, they didn't talk.
I'm happy, Invader, for the developers too, because you know, you work hard on great titles like Titanfall 1 and 2, and then now you have something to show for it's just, you know, a success story in the industry. You know, those guys doing a great job with a great product.
Hey, does anybody like think that maybe, because you remember Respawn was starting to work on a Star Wars game? Do you think like that was the early starting of Apex, was the Star Wars game?
No, I think they're still doing the Star Wars game, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought they
supposed to
canceled
come
it.
out.
I thought they canceled it.
They canceled it like a year ago.
Yeah, it's canceled.
No, I think you guys are thinking of the one that was.
No, they canceled everything.
Are you talking about the open world one?
Well, there
They
was
canceled
one. There
Respawn was
one.
making one. Amy Hennig was making one. Her team.
Yeah, that one. Then they were. They were supposed to do another one, and
there was like three.
There was one with microtransactions, and then they like kind of switched course.
That was Battlefront 2.
Respawn's Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order. It's still in development. I think it's supposed to come out. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
I thought they canceled that. Oh,
no,
the other game did the one that was
Amy Hennig was working on it. I know that.
Right, originally Amy Hennig was gonna do it, and then she left, and then they did they had a game, but it was like a microtransaction shit that would piss everyone off, and then they switched courses, and then they went and they did that for like 8 months, and then they just said, they just washed their hands of it, and I think they're starting again now.
Well, I thought that they canceled both those games, and that's why people from Disney and Star Wars, or Lucasfilm were like, need to get them rights away from EA so we can actually get some games that are, profitable out.
Well, actually, they were stating that recently that they were still happy with their relationship. So it's interesting that they say that. I don't know if that's just to, put smoke in mirrors.
Twitter rumors, you never know what's exactly the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the Jedi Fallen Order game, it's still in development. I think it's supposed to come out either at the end of this year or next year, but it's pretty much a given that it will release. And who knows, maybe we'll see a Titanfall 3 after this. That would be nice.
Yeah.
They haven't really talked about that much. They say it's not in development, but it's amazing what this free-to-play game does too. And apparently, it's drawing a lot of players. Like, I'm still amazed by the numbers. 25 million, like, within a week.
Crazy.
That's a sensation.
Crazy. That is a sensation.
Yeah, when they're talking about, Sea of Thieves had 5 million players.
Yeah,
like, I'm not huge on the Battle Royale games personally, but like, hey, kudos to them for it's just, I've never seen anything like this. Even Fortnite took a while, like a couple of months. Like, it's interesting to see this, and I like Respawn. I think they're a very competent developer. Obviously, they have old guard Call of Duty developers, with them, and it's insane seeing all this positivity. So no, it's a good thing, guys, and I don't know. Hey, maybe we should do an Apex Legends night one of these days.
That'd be good. Play with some of our listeners.
TXR,
that would be fun.
All right. Maybe we'll set something up, do a little play date. All right, moving on. So obviously it's the middle of February, and you know what that means? New Xbox games with gold to download. And we've got Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, and Assassin's Creed Rogue for obviously the first half of the month. And for the latter half, there's Super Bomberman R and an Xbox original, Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Has anyone had a chance to play these games? I know there's been a lot of new releases, but are you guys looking forward to testing them, trying them out?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so Bloodstain actually plays exactly like the 8-bit Castlevania game. In fact, the gentleman that created, I forgot his name, I'm sorry, but the gentleman that created the original Castlevania, he makes Bloodstain. And it's just it goes back to the old school roots of Castlevania, and it's a good game. It is what it is. It's a $10 title initially. Now it's free with games of gold. But it's just an action platforming game. But as for Bomberman, my kids love Bomberman, and in fact, they were playing it right before I got on the show, and they got me like 500 achievement points.
Boosting with your kids, huh?
Boosting, baby. I'm boosting.
Now we know the truth. I haven't played any of them, unfortunately.
He's like, I play everything. Yeah, you sure do. He means he watches his kids play.
Yeah.
I'm just happy I've never played. I played Jedi Academy, but I don't have any of these games, so they're all going to be added to my collection.
Yep, downloaded.
But I don't know if I will be playing. What is Bloodstained? That's kind of
yeah, like I said, it's like the 8-bit Castlevania. I don't know if you've ever played the original.
I hate it.
Well, hey, you know what? I've had Rogue for a while, and I played a little bit of it. It's kind of like you could tell it's a little step kid of the Assassin's Creed main, storyline. Yeah, no, seriously, I started to like it at first, and it just seemed like I was like, what's the story? What does it mean? It doesn't seem like there's gonna be a payoff for the game, so I kind of just stopped.
But to me, I'm kind of interested in testing it out because I'll be honest, I've been kind of Assassin's Creed outed, but over the past couple of years, like I'm kind of bored with the series.
You kind of get burned out the series.
But this one kind of interests me though because it's from the the guy's like a rogue, right? He's how do I put it? He's on the Templar side, right?
Yeah, he's a Templar side, but he used to be an assassin, so he's hunting down his quote unquote brothers.
Yeah, no, it seems like a little more interesting that way to me.
Well, yeah, you would think so, but I don't know. Me personally, just while I was playing it, I lost interest in it real fast. It seemed like he was way too cocky, because obviously he wasn't like a master assassin to be, to turn coat like that, and for him just to be a little bit too cocky, it's really off-putting in the storyline.
I think moving forward with Games with Gold needs to do is start looking at I'm sure they look at like the analytics side of it, of who's downloading what and what's been downloaded already, and then offer those games that haven't been downloaded and purchased, with high frequency, and offer those as games as gold. So that way everybody has those particular titles if they're not selling well, and offer them with gold. So I think they should do something like that. I don't know if they do it already, but that's what they should do.
It's interesting. Sorry, it's interesting that they replace like a 360 game with an Xbox original game, which isn't wrong in itself, but there's no achievements to earn and stuff like that, and that's a big part of the Games with Gold thing because they always boast about how many achievements you can earn and stuff. So like it would be nice if they added like more like 360 games, and then you have like maybe instead of 4 games, have 5 games with like one being an Xbox original each month as well.
But they can go back and look at it again. They can look at the analytics of it and say, hey, this game is a great game. We can offer this one. It hasn't been downloaded that much, and not that many people have it. And they can offer it with Games with Gold.
They kind of do that with like Warhammer. They did that.
That's right.
So that's a good example of it. I mean, I think they could be aggressive with it. I think Game Pass definitely kind of affects it kind of in a way. I don't think that they're that aggressive with it.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
My opinion is that I think that they should, offer some AAAs, so maybe some older AAAs that came out earlier in the generation. Every 3 months or something. I'm hoping that if the sales are really not that great with Crackdown, that they offer it at E3 as a Games of Gold. I think that would be a nice gesture to the fan, and get kind of turn the page on Crackdown because. I think Crackdown, if it had enough players or, got away from what's going on right now, and people actually played it, we could actually have a Crackdown 4. And as crazy as that sounds, I would love that, but I would just want a really good developer on it. I would want Coalition or,
Insomniac.
Playground or Insomniac or somebody, somebody who you're going to get a real quality game, but most likely the IP is probably shelved, and that's not what they wanted. That wasn't the thing, not to switch gears. But so I'm hoping that maybe they could get the Xbox Live. They could be a little aggressive with the AAAs.
Crackdown has the potential to be what Grand Theft Auto and stuff is to oh my god, I can't even think of the damn.
No, somebody brought that up, but or Saints Row, or
if it's done correctly, if it's put some love into it, and I mean it could be a monster game. It's gotta
but what made Saints Row is the potty humor and the jokes and the dildo bats and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That was just total jokes.
Yeah, but Crackdown's so much it offers something different. It's a platforming game. What?
What kind of bats? I'm trying my best not to cough and interrupt what I already have. And
it was a big purple phallus bat. Did you just whack the hell out of people?
Oh my god!
You never played it?
I have it, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
Well, it was called the Violator.
Yeah, I bet. I can't even. Oh boy!
I'd argue that Saints Row went a little too extreme with how they took the humor. Like, in my own opinion, I wish that they would like go back to the more like. I know it's always been kind of out there, but like to like maybe the Saints Row 2 days in a way.
They can't. They can't. No, there's so many games. Yeah, there's so many games like that. They can't do it.
I know what they should do. They should get me in the game, have a character of me in the game in the next one, and I think that'll be a tremendous selling point.
No, you got my vote for that. You got my vote for that, man. I would love to see that. The Beast.
Boom!
But with
fucking gravity.
With the way that Game Pass, guys, has kind of taken off, and with all the titles that get introduced there, do you guys think that it's like really how do I put it? Does that make Games with Gold like less relevant now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that they could use like more AAA titles in there. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy some of the indie titles that they put in there, games that I wouldn't have necessarily picked up for myself. But hey, I've been surprised. But it would be nice for them to actually, even like first party games, just put them in there. I liked what they did with Sunset Overdrive and Rise, but they could definitely offer like just other games in there just to make it more attractive, right?
Like, put it this way: if they got the rights to, let's say, even though I think it actually might be in there, but let's say Witcher 3, okay, they can get this game. So now you have a great game like that. Now, the way they're looking at their business model, they're going to say that game's going right to Game Pass, and that we're gonna market it that, and they're not gonna just give it away. See, that's where I think it hurts it. Where their big games are going to unfortunately probably go to Game Pass, and they could probably do both on both ends, but they have to be creative on the Games with Gold. They shouldn't just lower the quality.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I'll definitely give some of these games a shot. I tried out Bloodstained the other night. It's okay. I'm not really into like the retro inspired games anymore, but it's worth giving a go. But anyways, guys, moving on. And since we're talking about games in February, we should probably talk about all the new releases, because hey, there are a ton of noteworthy titles just released or coming out. Obviously, Crackdown 3 we just talked a bit about, Far Cry New Dawn, Metro Exodus, that fighting game Jump Force, and the list can go on really. And in a few days we'll have Anthem too, and I know Jeremy's he's just chomping right to talk about Anthem. But honestly, it's just a packed month. And has anyone here picked up any of these games or planning to? Just please dive right into it.
Yeah, the wallet's feeling it, man. It's it's been a crazy February to say the least. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go tomorrow and search garbage cans for 5-cent bottles. And
he said redemption value.
Times are hard, man. Times are hard. These gaming streets.
Yeah,
man is high.
I want Metro Exodus in the worst way. I want it for PC too.
You're gonna buy it on PC, huh?
Yeah, it's really.
Do you have a PC that can that does ray tracing already?
Yeah, I have a 2080. So it makes sense, but the only thing is that I don't really want to credit card it, but I think that it's going to happen tonight. I'm going to buy Apex because it just looks like it's so good.
You said Apex,
Metro. I know Metro. You meant Metro. I have Metro.
I'll buy the $60 version of Apex.
Yeah,
I got Metro, man, but I've been sick as a dog, like we said at the beginning of the show, so I haven't had time to try it out yet. But maybe tonight.
All right, some caution to the wind. Do not play Metro like a run and gun shooting game. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get smoked.
Okay.
So play it like a survival shooter.
It's always been like a you gotta sneak around,
conserve your ammunition, stock up on supply. It's a great game. It
looks phenomenal.
Oh man, it takes that claustrophobic level aspect of the originals, and it has the open world aspect to it too. So, and it just offers more. It's a better game than the original. It's like 1 and 2. And
now 1 and 2, really quick, you're mostly indoors, right? Now you're more outside.
Right.
Okay.
But there's more environments, there's more story aspects to the game, better characters, and it just fleshes the world of Metro out a little bit more. And you get answers, not to ruin everything, but you get answers to what the world is going, when the world is going on with the world of Metro. Because originally, it was just like, you were the survivor, you were the sole survivor, or your camp was the sole survivor in Moscow, Russia, and not to give anything away, but it fleshes the world out a little bit more, so you know exactly what's going on, what happened, why is there there's creatures in the world now, and it just fleshes everything out. It's a great game.
Now you played it the most out of all of us, Jeremy. Then would you say we'd have to play the first 2 to get the story or anything?
No,
okay.
You don't, but it will help. That's why they give you Metro. Is it which one did they give? Yeah, they give you 2033 because I think that's the more relevant one as far as the game goes. That leading up to Exodus, but it's a great game. There's nothing like it.
Graphically,
oh my god!
It might actually be better than Anthem. It
is. I would say
really ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say the graphics are better than Anthem. Is it the best graphically looking game available on any console? I would have to say no, but it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Did they enhance the one that they gave us, the digital, the 2033?
No,
it's not enhanced.
I don't think it's enhanced. It would love it. The thing about Exodus is on PC too. They have, which don't have it on console. They have PhysX. They have tessellation. I can never say that. They have Hairworks.
What you said?
It's really really done well on PC. It's kind of like if this is going to be a title, I think that you see the next generation, PS5 and Anaconda and Lockhart. Yeah. I think that you'll see this type of stuff, what you're seeing on the PC, the PhysX. PhysX is actually very cool. When like you shoot a wall, you see like all splattering. Obviously,
the lighting in the game, I've never seen lighting like it in the game ever.
Well, and then you have the ray tracing,
right?
So that on the PC side. So this is a game that you might double dip, like in my case, just because the PC side is it's probably one of the top graphic games going out there.
I'm gonna have to fire this up tonight. Peter's asking in the chat, does that multiplayer?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have multiplayer. It's a single player. Okay.
Now, again, there's only one negative. I don't even know if you want to call it a negative, but the combat itself, like the first-person aspect and the shooting aspect of the game, is a little clunky. But it's meant to be that way because it's not really a run-and-gun shooting type game. Mm-hmm. It's more of like a survival kind of. It's more like a Resident Evil type first-person style, where the mechanics aren't there, but it's good enough to it's good enough to be solid. So, that's, I think for the next one, it's definitely to be, to be desired, but it's a great game. I'll tell you one thing right now. It's a great game.
I'm going to try it out. Watch. I'm going to enjoy Crackdown more than
Yeah. This is so hard for me, guys. This is so hard for me to listen to because it's been my most anticipated game for months, and obviously, as I posted on Twitter and in our DM, you guys saw my Metro Exodus. I got it. Okay, guys. So I got Metro Exodus through Amazon yesterday, However, it looked like somebody took a hammer to it. The entire package was cracked. I had to send out for another one, and I got a replacement Metro Exodus game disc for Xbox One, but it's just sitting there. And from you guys talking about it, I'm just like, oh, I'm so jealous that some of you've already played it just already. Like,
just pop it in, buddy. Just pop it in.
Oh yeah, because it's so easy. That's so easy.
What you say, Invader? You took a hammer to it? It's because you wanted to play Crackdown. You wanted to play Crackdown.
He was trying to chew the plastic off, and he actually bit the plastic.
Yeah, it looks like a Tim Dog was so excited that he just chewed right through it.
Special delivery.
There's amazing set pieces in the game for being like okay. At first, it's linear, and then there's open world games to it. Open world, yeah. So and it opens up. But the set pieces are, I mean, you'll be on a train again, traveling, and there'd be another train next to you, and you'd hop on and take out like 20 or 30 guys, and then you'll throw a hand grenade or an explosive inside the other train and hop off the other one. It's just nice set pieces, great action, and it's a good time.
I saw it when I saw a couple of clips where it was raining and just the whole environment was like crazy.
It does look good, man.
And then also when you put the goggles on, and I saw the E3 demo, when you like shot somebody, the blood would go on the goggles, and
you have to wipe it off.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Right? Yeah. This game is how I think I'm going to buy it. I wanted to finish Crackdown first, but I think tonight I think I'm gonna go return some bottles tomorrow, 5 cents. Maybe do something. Bag lunches for the rest of the week.
Maybe
that digital life, man. All the games you want is at your fingertips. That and your credit card, you can have it right there instantly, man. I can't.
I can't hit the credit card. I promised myself I wouldn't. I don't want to go over a certain limit, and I'm right at the limit. So.
Now, there's a game here that kind of stands out to me in this packed month, and that's Far Cry New Dawn, because I've seen a lot of mixed receptions to it as well. A lot of people, from what I've seen, have been saying that it's just very eerily similar to its predecessor, Far Cry 5. Are you any of you guys interested in it, or?
Nah, I have no interest in it. I mean, I've already played 4 and 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of burnt out on it.
Yeah,
I hate games like that. It's just basically DLC that's souped up, and it's the same game, and say, hey, it's $40. I don't buy those games personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really that keen on it. I've seen like a lot of comparisons with Rage to it as well, just because of the way that the coloring of it is. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad game, but it's kind of a Far Cry overload too, because we're getting all kinds of iterations of it every year or so. And me personally, I wish that they would give it a bit of a break, because there seems to be an oversaturation of it personally, but we'll see. Right. Moving on, fellas. So next topic. Recently, Microsoft they had teased that it had plans for, how do I put it? Plans for Xbox Live, and supposedly plans to expand to other platforms, including iOS, Android, and even the Nintendo Switch. And this move was teased in a description for an upcoming talk at GDC. And it includes details on a new cross-platform Xbox kit. So, guys, obviously, Microsoft wants to be on every screen possible going forward. Do you think we'll be seeing Xbox Live on other consoles going forward?
No, you'll never see it on another console ever, unless Nintendo becomes a third-party company. Then.
Did you say Nintendo? You're such a paisa.
No, I said Nintendo.
You said Nintendo.
Nintendo. No, it's not coming to. What's the benefit of it being on Switch?
Well,
how would Nintendo profit off it? I think the answer to that is they're not. I mean, it's.
Well, my opinion on the situation, and I have a loaded opinion, if you say that, is that this could either mean a couple of things. It could mean xCloud is coming to Switch, I highly doubt it. I doubt that Nintendo would be open to the fact that they could you could play another platform on their on their system. I don't think that they'd be open to it, but that is a possibility. But what I do think is going to happen here is that you're going to have games, and it might upset people. You might have Ori, Cuphead. Those games where you buy them and you can play them on Switch, PC, and your Xbox. That's my prediction for that. I do think that maybe possibly the new Ori is going to be one of those. It's going to be a cross-platform game that you buy and you could actually play it on Nintendo. That's the only way
it won't be about the consoles anymore. It'll be about who owns the IP. Is it Microsoft owning it?
Well, it's going to be pretty much you own your digital content. And in this way, they're saying, hey, this is just my opinion. This is just my take on it. It could be xCloud. It could just be nothing, just something like Minecraft or Fortnite, the way you can cross-progress these games. Yeah. But my take on this is that you're going to have some games that lose their exclusivity to even Xbox Play Anywhere, or Xbox Play Anywhere or GameCore, as they're saying, expands out, and you now have a game like Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori 2. They're both available, and if you buy them now or you buy the new one, the new one, it's a Play Anywhere, and you can actually play it on the Switch. I don't know how that benefits the Switch, other than it brings a game to it that they would, I don't know if there's a financial how they would do it, but that's what I kind of think that it would be. But that's a guess.
Right. Well, I think also Invaders, when it becomes more accessible, when you put on devices, Samsung devices, iPhones, TV, we're talking every single TV that could potentially have xCloud on it, streaming Xbox games, then there's no need to put it on the Switch. You know what I mean? Because it's accessible. You can play it on anything. You can play on your phone. You can play it on a small TV. You can play on your computer. You can play on your TV. And now, you can hook up controllers to your TV. I mean, shit. Have David Preen create a new Elite controller with the hookups to hook up to your phone, and that'd be sweet. And
that's still a need, Jeremy. I mean, yeah. You can't bring your TV in the bathroom, right? I mean, if you want to play in the bathroom with your Switch,
you could if you bring a controller that has the
Well, that's the only platform that you have. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you can bring your phone. Again, you're gonna have. They're gonna create something. They're gonna create something where your controller hooks up to your phone, where it can be accessible to Xbox players, and you're going to be able to play anywhere or do anything, especially with the 5G coming out.
Yeah. 5G also does play into that. That is true.
Yeah.
The ability of, in the future, in 5 years or 3 years, let's say, if this all goes out and you're on a 5G connection, you could literally buy a game, download that game within a minute, and then be playing that game.
Yep.
In a minute of you buying your content. See, in Microsoft's minds, it's not about consoles. It's not about PCs. It's about screens. It's about getting their games and playing your content wherever they allow it, pretty much.
It's about going over those barriers that's stopping people from playing anywhere. And that's what xCloud is
going to be Xbox Live and their IPs, I think.
Exactly. xCloud and Xbox Live is kind of be synonymous with each other. And it's just going to be you buying the game. Like, oh, I bought Halo 5 Infinite, or I bought Halo 6, and now I can play it. I'm in California, but I don't have my Xbox, but you know what? I can play it on my phone, or I could play it on one of the new LGs that has xCloud on it, where I could just connect to it and play it right off. I think it's kind of like, if I draw a parallel, it's like Netflix. If Netflix only could play at one place at your house, would it be as valuable, or is it more valuable having Netflix be available on your laptop, phone, wherever you want.
Exactly.
You bring a great point.
It's your content. It's basically you own your content, and there's no limits. And it's like, I'm a little long-winded with this, but it's like, is Microsoft doing this to just embolden the gamer, and it's all about the gamer? It's partially that, but it's also because that's where they see this going. They see money. They see that that's where they can expand and become bigger than grow outside of just the console and be even bigger than that. And they're doing that for themselves.
It's also to be a bigger player outside of the US, and that's what xCloud is going to help them do, because when you have that access, to put your Xbox and games on a cellular device, and we're talking Samsung has over 150 million or something users, something. Maybe it's more than that, but when you can bring Xbox and then you make it more visible throughout the world, which xCloud will do, it's going to benefit them, which they don't have a stranglehold in either market, in Japan and Europe, which it's going to help them. So
and they have the infrastructure. That's the thing. They're pretty much worldwide with their cloud. I mean, it's still being built out. I mean, I know that Middle East just got Azure servers just got greenlit, and I think they're in Africa and all parts of it. I think there's something holding it up, but they're looking to build data centers there. They want to build it all out, and literally you're going to be able to take your phone around the world and play off of the cloud. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. And people say, well, why doesn't Sony's going to do that? And it goes back to what Phil says. It's, you have to have, they have the cloud. They have the three things that really, makes them unique. Nobody has the cloud like this. Amazon has the cloud, but they don't have, they don't have Xbox Live. They don't have video games that they're pushing out.
Right.
Sony does not have that. So, I mean,
they have the cloud. Amazon has the cloud. They have the infrastructure for sure.
Right.
But like you said, they don't have the games or publishing, and they just started dabbing in it, but they're light years behind everybody else.
Right. Google, the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't see Sony really doing this or offering this. Google will offer it, but you also have something where I don't know if Google's going to have the content. Xbox is going to say, hey, Halo Infinite, guess what? You can have it today. Download on your phone right now and play on your tablet if you want right now. Buy it right now. I think that single thing that Microsoft can offer is something that can get them back into play here.
Well, it's amazing too, because this is such a transformative generation, I would say. We began with like these closed boxes, the traditional consoles, and now we're talking about the cloud. We're talking about Xbox IP possibly being on different platforms, play anywhere. xCloud, like it's so different from where we started.
100%.
Hey, you know what? And I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna be the naysayer of the bunch, because I really don't like this idea. I don't like going away from consoles, and call me old fashioned or whatever.
Well, they're not going away from consoles.
Well,
they're not going away from consoles.
In a way, they are those. They're giving me more options, but really, I don't play. I don't have a Switch. I don't have no need to go out in the middle of a park and play on a handheld device. I don't want to play on my phone. I want to play when I'm at home on my TV, chilling. I don't want to be like out in the public and like, oh, I'm gonna play. If I'm out in the public, I'm enjoying people that are out there. I don't want to be on a gaming system or lack thereof that's just taken away from the experience for me.
Right.
Like when the micro or Xbox phones came out, Microsoft Windows phones, and they had Xbox Live on it, and you could only play like the little cheap Windows games or whatever. The little cards games or whatever. It was so cheesy and like it was kind of like playing Words with Friends or something like that. But still, like I said, when I'm out in the public and outside, I'm interacting with people. I don't want to be like, well, hold on a second, don't talk to me. I'm about to kill somebody in Halo. You know what I mean? It just to me.
Yeah.
But what if you're waiting at a doctor's office or you're somewhere and
a restaurant,
a restaurant, or you're just waiting.
You know what? I can't get the same experience as I would on my phone or a handheld as I would on TV.
I understand that, but that's the thing. It's all about choice.
To me, it's right. To me, it's diminished though, and so that's what I said. I'll be the oddball and be against it because I really don't see myself implementing that.
Well, I think Phil's already agreed to. Obviously the console's not going to be an issue.
It's going to be 2 consoles.
Yeah, it's not going to be an issue.
Not 1, 2.
You think, guys, it'll be one past the next Xbox? You think you guys will be another?
Well, this is the last one. I think, yeah, I do think that maybe one more generation.
That 5G is a game changer for sure.
Is there going to come a time where you could play games like you watch movies over Netflix, and there'll be it'll be so close to even playing physical that you really can't notice. I do think that that's coming. How long ago is that away? Maybe 10 years.
Yeah, 10, 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 10, 15 years. I think 15 is a safer bet. But yeah, that's where I do see some of this going, at least for Xbox. I don't think that we're always going to have consoles. I do think that there might always be some type of all-in-one type thing that people want. I mean, in 10 years, I'm going to still want something under my 8K TV that's going to, do everything. I'm not going to just want an Xbox app on the LG 8K TV. I want something that could do, pushing whatever next generation thing that's going on locally. But who's to say? It's that's all the future for what's here right now. Xbox is going to have 2, possibly 3 consoles coming out. So I don't think that if you're just a console gamer that just likes to play in front of your console and nowhere else, you're not going to be affected.
Hey, Tim, what do you think about the 2 or 3 console concept? You think it's a good idea?
I don't know what they're doing, so it's kind of hard to really, pontificate on it because you can't say what they're doing. It's going to be strange. I think they might phase out the X. I think they might phase out the S. But how they're going to do that, what they're going to do, is your best guess. I don't know. They might not even push out the cloud console that was rumored by Brad Sams, so.
I mean, I hope what happens is, they'll release the console that they're going to release maybe in 2020 or 2021, whenever it's going to release.
Right.
But I hope
it'll be 2020.
I hope the X is the option to be that second console. I don't think they're going to get rid of it altogether. I think that's going to be the second console. It's powerful enough to be the second console, and just offer that and just go with the 1 SKU.
I think they're going to go with 2 SKUs. I think that the 2 SKUs are going to have ray tracing built into them. I think that leak that you saw could be very close to being the truth. What the X is basically Lockhart. Lockhart's supposed to be only 4 teraflops, whereas X is 6. But the on the other flip side, the processor or the CPU that you're going to have compared to the Jaguar that the X has, it's going to even itself out. So you'll still have
people still going to get caught up with numbers. It's like, wait a minute. So I bought something that had 6. Now I'm going to go back to something that has 4. People aren't really up on game when it comes to certain specs.
Well, what if it's 250 too, and the X is 399? So you can buy.
I'm not a technical guy, but you can't just change the CPU and put a better CPU in the thing and leave it at 6. Leave the GPU the way it is and just add a better CPU.
I don't think they can walk it back, to be honest with you. But that's just I'm not.
Well, that's the rumor. But if you have better, faster RAM, you have faster CPU, and you have everything, it can all balance it out where it's doing what the X is doing. It's just doing it in a certain way. How that really turns out, I do think that there'll be 2 SKUs. They'll have the arcade, and they'll have the deluxe, which is going to be the Anaconda. And obviously, I think everyone here is going to get the Anaconda.
I think Tim, if they do decide to go with 4, they're gonna have to scrap the interface. The interface. They're gonna have to scrap the interface because right now it's clunky. It can't even process the applications already. Well, I mean, what makes you think 4 is gonna do it on top of the gaming itself? So if it's just strictly gaming and they simplify the the dashboard, I think they can go with 4, and like you said, put that faster CPU in it, and it'll work out fine.
Well, they have to have some type of plan because this is pretty crazy. If you're gonna have 4 SKUs and stuff, I guess people could say that there's 4 SKUs of iPhones, but in reality, I think that they have some type of plan, and I just feel like they gun to be the most powerful and they gun to be the most affordable, and they're doing that with a 2
So
SKU.
curious, though, man. Somebody call Mike Ybarra or Phil on the phone. Get him on the phone right now. Get him on the phone.
All right.
I think when it comes to, I'm sorry to go lengthy on this topic, but when it comes to gaming and when you offer 2 SKUs to the consumer, you get confused,
Right?
Not really, though. Is consumer getting confused?
Us as gamers, the average gamer, but we're talking parents. They don't know what the hell.
How do the parents know how to buy the next iPhone? Why aren't they buying the X?
That's part of the reason why Sony is such.
Same thing.
That's part of the reason why Sony is such a. When you look at gaming in itself, around the world, gaming's irrelevant. I mean, as far as Sony goes, I mean, I don't know.
Well, it depends how they do the messaging for it, like, and how they present it. Obviously, they're going to be very careful with their words, I would assume, considering how this gen started. So they're going to be preparing very well for it. We don't know how these consoles are going to turn out when they announce them, but it's pretty obvious that they do have the intentions of, attacking the next generation with a couple of different prongs. They don't just want to have one console. They seem to be interested in a couple, but we'll see how that plays out, right?
Hopefully in June. Yeah.
Well, we'll certainly see.
I hope so. Something.
Moving on to the next topic. About a week or so ago, Sony Studio Chairman Sean Layden spoke why the company is skipping E3, stating that trade shows have lost their impact. That the world has changed, but E3 hasn't necessarily changed with it, and how 24/7 gaming news has really affected it. So do you guys agree with Layden's statements, or do you think E3 is still important to gaming?
It's both. He's correct. He's 100% correct. You know how much money it takes to build, to be inside E3, to build a show, to have a conference. Millions and millions,
it's like 30 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
30 million. Yep, 30 million.
Why in your right mind as a company waste all that money when you can get the same impact as you can from stream? You
can't though, because
yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how. When you have marketing like Sony has, and you have a bunch of games running on Sony's platform, when you go inside, they're going to be Sony's going to have a presence at E3, whether you think so or not, regardless of them being there.
Well, they're
going to have marketing deals lined up exactly for these games. No, I'm talking about for the games they have to show, and it's going to be on Sony's. They're going to be on Sony platforms. With these marketing deals.
They're going to get destroyed at E3. They're going to get destroyed at E3.
The perception is going to be...
You watch and see.
Sony just has the goodwill. That's what it is. And they're giving a big, huge pass.
I don't know about that. I think that the way E3 goes, and all of us are pretty well versed here. We've been a part of it, and Invader, probably will get one day. But I know everyone here otherwise has been a part of it. It's a week-long event. It is not just a day event, and the Xbox is going to dominate that week. And you're going to see a little, you look at what happened today, like this week with Crackdown, how it was bashed every single day. When E3 hits, Xbox is going to have the goods, and they're going to hit it out of the ballpark, I think, and they're going to be talking all week long. And people are going to be loving E3.
Sony's gonna be missed, because they have a lot of fans that want to play their games and see what they got cooking in the kitchen, and they can't see it. So it's gonna be a telling time how it goes, because I think it's a mistake for PlayStation.
100%.
I'm an Xbox fan, and I'm gonna miss it. I love games. Period. I don't care. Xbox is my platform of choice, but still, I'm gonna miss going through and seeing what Sony had to offer and all.
I like walking on the line in between the Xbox and PlayStation and be like, ooh, I'm about to go get jumped over here right now. You know what I mean? It's funny.
It was fun. It's fun. It's fun.
No, it is, but it's competition, and us as consumers, it's only best for us, and now, hey, I'm glad Xbox is going to be the only name, only show on the floor, but I feel bad for the PlayStation fans because they deserve better.
I like the enthusiasm. I like when people are happy, just for games, man. I just like I feed off the excitement when I see people enjoying something they like to play. It's just like I'm an Xbox guy again, but still, like if someone's a Sony fan and they're seeing a new God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn, I love that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I think it's going to be sad that they're not going to be there this year. So
well, it's interesting too because it's not just for the week too. I mean, there are going to be news outlets and gamers alike. They're going to be talking about it for up until Gamescom at least, right? Because that's the next big conference after that. So when your competitor is announcing, we're bound to see a few new games there, obviously. So and when Xbox has all this. You would think like a clear stage for them because it's just going to be them pretty much and Nintendo and some other publishers, and Sony's not there. Then you're doing yourself a disservice for not being there. You think you want to steal some limelight and make some announcements. So up until Gamescom, the summer is just going to be filled with some Xbox news.
On top of that, if they knock it out of the park like I've been waiting for the past 4 years, and when I'm talking about some of the stuff that's going to be unveiled or potentially be unveiled at E3, generating so much excitement for the Xbox brand, they have a huge opportunity on their hands to do something special and to make an impact.
100%, because they have that 90 minutes of pure focus. Now Slayden could say, "Oh, well, it's a time of 24/7, reporting." They could have like some type of announcement. And people will catch on to it. But the thing is, the beauty of E3 is that you have that 90-minute show. Everyone is watching you. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone's there. They're either there on the internet, or they're in show in person, or they're there somehow paying it. And Xbox has not only their first party that they could show, they also have third party. Third party at E3 has always been big. They could pick and choose what they want to show, and they could have Bungie, who knows, on the floor announcing their next game. Who knows what they could have in store? But they could really have a shot here to knock it out of the ballpark. And at that time, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a telling time, like Sal said. There's going to be people that crack on it, because not only is it, if Sony guys can say, yeah, well, they give me great games, I don't really need a show, it's irrelevant. But the fact is that it's always nice to have a show. It's for the fans.
Hey, fan interaction means a lot, and that's why. And I'm look at us here on the panel right now. 80% of why we're Xbox fans is because the way they interact with us.
Right.
And so, fan, I would expect the same from Sony, and that's just, as a consumer, you want to know that they have confidence in you as a consumer, and then it's returned with my money getting paid to them.
Yeah, Xbox can have Xbox Fan Fest. It's a party. It's a Super Bowl. So for Layden to try to really, it was about money. And it was about that $30 million price tag. They look at the position that they're in, and they say, "Hey, we don't really need it. Sure, we could save $30 million, and we could probably get what we could do our own show." Yeah, and to me, it comes off as very.
To me, it's being chintzy and
it is. If you're going to be calling it right now, you have these Sony guys that are now saying that Xbox should demand better. They will defend it and say it's irrelevant, and then say they don't care. But at the end of the day, when that show's blaring and Xbox is pumping, they're going to care. You're going to.
Oh yeah, they're going to care big time.
Why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want an event where, hey, the people that you talk about every day, whatever it's Yoshida or anybody on the Sony camp, when you want to have a get together with those people, Xbox not only do they have the show, they're having the show, but they also have the fans. Phil's hanging out with the fans, talking to all the fans, shaking hands. Aaron, Larry, all
Mike,
those people, they're all there. Mike meeting people beforehand, going
all
out,
in, baby,
all in, going out and talking with the community and having drinks and talking among people. You're gonna say, as a Sony fan, the way you dedicate your life, or the way these people on Twitter talk about Xbox all day, and you're a Sony fan and you love Sony, or you talk about Sony all day, you wouldn't want that yourself. You wouldn't want to hang out and have parties with Sony people and people in the industry. If you're gonna say no and it's irrelevant, you're just lying.
There's value in going to E3 because, I mean, think of all the YouTubers and streamers that are going to go, and it's free marketing. If Xbox is going to be there, like Sal said, with boots on the ground, people interviewing, people showing up, offering their time, it's a powerful thing. And I think it's gonna be a big thing, a big moment for Xbox to step up.
They have to hit it out of the ballpark.
They have to.
Bottom line, it's psychological warfare, dude. Hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
yeah. Well, it's about obviously it's about everyone getting together, the community, everyone being there. It's about all of that. And for Sony to just say, hey, you can take us out and you can give the whole platform to Xbox is it's pretty ballsy in a way.
Arrogant, right? Maybe
it's a little arrogant, yeah. And
I think you're going to see a lot of people bitter about it. I think it's going to backfire.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to backfire, dude.
I could see that. Well, usually you have a winner at E3. You always have a winner. Just let me make this point. You always have a winner at E3. And you always have a loser. And it always plays out. And in the whole week, it always plays out. Xbox by default is going to be a winner unless they completely drop the ball somehow and announce DRM out of nowhere or something crazy. It's going to be Xbox One, and it's going to be, hey, why is Sony so cheap? It was a kind of a cheesy move. That's going to be the talk. Of course, people say it's irrelevant, but the fact of the matter is I think it's going to be a telling time, and Xbox has a real opportunity now to get people back.
All the developers and third-party people are like, hey, man, we're normally showing our games on the Sony platform, Sony stage. Where's our press gonna be at? So you know what? They're gonna be calling up Phil and Microsoft Xbox and be like, hey, the last 3 years we've been on Sony stage, but we need to show our game. Like, you got any scope for us? And how many developers are gonna do that? That's what I want to know.
I'm thinking they could go over and they could have a longer show than usual. I think that Phil realizes that this is a moment he has to grasp.
Could you imagine if this was the other way around and Microsoft decided not to show up to E3? Like, could you imagine the media? Oh my god!
But even when
Xbox,
yeah,
you got to hear it now.
Well, the fact is that Xbox has always been there, even when they weren't really pushing out the games and they had the lulls in games and they were up in the air in game development. They always were there, out there, boots on the ground, and there with the fans. But this year, I expect a huge E3. I expect studio announcements. I expect games. I know that Invader, we talked in the thing, you're looking forward to what Ninja Theory is Ninja Studios doing. I think they're going to be there. I've heard that they have enough stuff already that they can push off stuff, and they're going to have an XO this year. So, you know, they are in good position. It's not like in the past where, hey, you know, you have 2 games you already showed, and we don't really have much more. They have a lot of stuff in the pipeline. So I expect a good show, big show. I expect a longer show, too. They might go 2 hours this year.
All right, all right. Well, we're heading towards the end of the show, but before we leave, guys, I know we kind of alluded to this earlier, but would you like to share with everybody who's watching, like, what we've been playing or what we plan on playing over the next couple of days? What games are going to be consuming your life for the next little while?
I've been playing Apex, a little bit of Forza. I'm going to probably crack open this Metro right now with all the talk and everything. I'm ready to play that. So that's it. Basically, Apex I'm loving it so far. Easy to pick up and play, and so.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish Crackdown. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm trying to finish.
I talk about it. I want to play that too.
You know, my little brother and I, we've been playing co-op and just having a lot of fun with it. Just like I said, you know, when I was tweeting, it's mindless fun for me. I don't take it too serious. I'm not expecting GTA. I'm not expecting some like life-altering, you know, gaming achievement. You know what I mean? I just want to jump around and collect orbs and shoot shit and blow stuff up, and I'm happy. You know what I mean? I don't want to be moved, you know, with my soul. You know,
hey, as long as you're having fun. Hey, listen, as long as you're having fun. Right now, they had the multiplayer fix, so we all be playing Crackdown at the same time.
Right, and it's like that. And I'm waiting on Anthem. I had to reinstall it because of the EA Access preview or trial, or whatever.
You left it on and left the room, and they charged you the whole 10 hours.
Well, no. You know, because I had pre-ordered it, so just because I pre-ordered it, I can't use the trial, so I had to reinstall it from the EA Access link. You know what I mean? So it's a headache. Even though it was already installed,
it's not that much of a headache because I had it installed already when I pre-ordered it. I just installed it using the Access link.
You always had to contradict everything. You
yin and yang over here.
Oh god!
No, seriously. So yeah, you know what? But I don't know why, man. That Metro is just calling my name, and I'm just
I'm fired up.
It's so good.
It's calling my name, but I'm like, man, I'm still trying to finish Crackdown. I'm still trying to finish Ace Combat, and then Anthem. I'm just like,
Ace Combat. I have that too, man. I haven't even launched that yet. I have that.
Kingdom
How was that
Hearts 3 is another game.
Oh,
it's good.
That's a good. That's a good.
I got that too.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I have it. I have the.
I want to get it.
I got the special edition. Yeah.
Again, I'm 8 hours into Anthem. I have 2 hours left. I'm at level 9 right now. Invader, I'm not kidding you. It's the servers fault me over 100 times. Over 100 times I've been kicked, and I love the game so much that I keep loading it to freaking play.
I bet you beat your wife every time you get dropped too.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Come here, woman!
That was a joke, ladies and gentlemen.
I look forward.
They may think he does, but no.
I look forward to your meltdown.
Everybody that knows Jeremy knows that he gets beat up, not the other way around.
Jeremy, I look forward to your launch day meltdown. The next show should be very interesting.
It's if they don't get it together, it's gonna be a shit show on the internet. And I'm talking, it's gonna go bad.
Yeah, but people are gonna like it, like you said. They like it too much. It's too good that people they'll bitch and moan for the first day or two.
Yeah.
You know, listen, you're the reason, you're the test right now. So, you know, it does stink. I'm sure they'll clean it up a little, but you know, it seems like a little bit behind schedule, maybe not behind schedule, but they're working, because I heard also that this demo that they put runs much better frame rate.
Oh yeah, it runs better. And some of the things that my concerns were about when I played the original demo when it came out are gone. So they definitely made improvements on the game. The scope is just the graphics and the scale and the speed and the mechanic. It's just gonna be a nasty, nasty title.
Is it possible to just play it by yourself, or do you have to play it with people?
No, you can play but it's online mainly. So if
right,
you don't
so
have an online connection, and people know what to do. It's the concept's easy enough for you can just go in and play with randoms. It's enjoyable playing with randoms. And it's quick too. But if you have friends that commit to the game and want to play it, there's nothing like it. I mean, Destiny. It's like the Destiny we've always wanted with a single player campaign, with the mobility that Anthem offer. It's gonna be a great
monsters. Game. I think what they nailed is those creatures they have are really impressive.
Yes, there is boss battles. Unlike Destiny, there's boss battles, but
but it's like some guy that drops down. That's like, hey, he's the leader.
It looks good. It looks good. Hey, what javelin are you using? What's everybody using? I'm going with the Colossus, man. I don't know.
That's a good one. I've seen people dominate with the Colossus. Like if you have a good Colossus and you have the javelin. I'm sorry, not the javelin, but the what's the smaller?
You got the Ranger. You have the Colossus.
Yeah. Well, I picked the Ranger. Oh my god, I can't even think of them at the top of my head. But they work well together, and each of them are uniquely different. And it just flows good. Mechanics are there. It's gonna be a beast.
Cool.
Well, for me, I went through Crackdown, and I can't say boom anymore because my wife came in and yelled at me. But I've pretty much been playing that, and I'm definitely. I might even get Apex tonight. I don't know if I can play it tonight. I'm kind of tired, but looking to get that.
$60.
And then I want to get. I'm going to wait on Anthem, and I kind of want to get Kingdom Hearts 3. I kind of feel like that game. A lot of people seem to like it a lot. So, and it has Disney characters, which. I don't think you can ever go wrong with that. Like to me, that type of stuff is cool. So that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to. I was looking forward to Jump Force, but it sounds like that is a horror show.
What was so bad about? What were they saying about it? I
don't know. I played at E3. I thought it was really cool. I'm like, this game is going to be awesome.
I was gonna buy it, and I seen the reviews.
The reviews.
Oh no!
I don't know. I've heard some pretty good stuff about it, to be honest. But I don't know. Then again, maybe I've been talking to some diehard anime fans.
I've heard good things about it too. I'm using reviews.
Horrible.
I don't really use reviews too much to decide whether I'm going to buy a game or not. It helps me a little bit. Like for now, I'm going to use it as saying that's my excuse. To not spend another $60 because I don't want to. I spent so much damn money already. It's just like it's crazy.
I'm the same way.
Kingdom Hearts, Ace Combat. Thank God Crackdown's on Game Pass because if it wasn't, I'd still buy it. The reviews are what they are now. So because
absolutely. And I've been playing Crackdown. I plan on finishing that up and going through it, and I'm having fun with it so far. I can't really give a quick review on it, but I'm enjoying it. That's all I can really say. And I'm definitely gonna start Metro Exodus tomorrow because I have been waiting for that for so long.
It's no work for some of us.
No. I am working, but after work, I'm definitely gonna. You lucky.
I would have been sick because I'm sick as a dog anyway. I'd have been off regardless, but I'm off.
Yeah, it's a holiday, not in Canada though.
Well, it is a holiday, technically. I have to work through the holiday, unfortunately.
Oh, is it a holiday up there?
Yeah, Family Day.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
It's funny how Canada
Family Day.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, well, we like to copy you guys.
How cold is it? How cold is it?
Let's see. -12, I think.
So let me ask you. You're living in -12 weather right now. If you went outside.
Yeah,
he's got on shorts.
How do you live like that? Honestly.
Let's see.
How do you combat that? Do you is -12 because in -12, who's -12 in New York? Literally, you couldn't probably go to a supermarket because people would freak out and buy bread and stuff like that. Like, well, so how does your I really, this is a sincere question. Is it blown out to me, or what? How does it feel to live in -12?
Okay, keep in mind, I'm talking in Celsius. So with you,
and can you use the bathroom outside? Can you? I mean, does it freeze as you're going? That too.
Minus 12.
Freezes inside. So you guys are nice.
Well, minus 12 isn't so bad. It's when you start getting below minus 20, then things really, the car won't start.
Your
and
balls are in your stomach.
God.
Oh, yeah. It starts getting pretty bad after that.
In Fahrenheit?
I have no idea. I don't know the conversions very well for that.
The conversion would be 28 degrees, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad. I'm thinking minus 12. The only reason why is I know they had that cold front, and I was looking in some of the Canadian like their degrees, and I couldn't believe how cold it was. I was like, wow.
We got that vortex. Yeah,
that vortex.
It got to minus 15 where I'm at in North Jersey.
Yeah,
you were not too far from me the other week in that area too.
Right.
And in PA, that was all minus 15.
Well, thank God it's Celsius, because then it makes it much more bearable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, let me just put it to you like this: the ice storm that we had the other last week. Oh, terrible. Just stay home, guys. Stay home. If you ever have like a minus 12 weather and you got ice or something, just stay home. Be safe. Like, that's just common sense. But with that said, guys, I think this is going to come to an end of the TXR podcast. A big thank you to everyone that joined us tonight. We had such a great time just chatting games, talking the industry topics. And before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button. And hey, if you enjoyed our banter, then definitely consider subscribing to keep up to date on future episodes. And without further delay, let's get to the outros. Mr. Downer, where can everybody find you?
Nowhere.
Sounds good.
I'm navalent.
All right. All right, we'll just skip you then. Mr. Southbound, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Southbound 110, or you can hit me up on the Xbox, and my gamer tag is South. And no, it's not for sale. I don't give a damn how many times people send me messages. No, my gamer tag is not for sale. And I will report you for sending me messages that shit too.
All right, you heard it from the man. Megatron, where can everybody find you, bud?
Well, for now, I'm going to be in bed, trying to recover and trying to play a little bit of Metro. So you can find me on Twitter, Megatron _1975, and let's play some games too. Megatron 1 on Xbox Live. So,
definitely. Tim, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Xbox Live at Beastfire Tim Dog.
Beastfire
Tim Dog. And that's all. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Tim's going to be in the next Microsoft Studios Xbox exclusive. Look out for him. He's going to make an appearance.
Crackdown 4 is. I'm going to be just like Doc. I'm going to be an agent, but I'm going to be a 300-pound agent, and I'm going to have like certain kind of.
You have to be level 6 before you could jump at all.
Yeah. and I have to use enhancements and steroids to get to a level 10.
Tim is a beast.
But no, just looking to play some Crackdown hopefully tonight, and I'm trying to stay up.
Get that Metro, Tim. Get that Metro.
I might buy this Metro, but the eyes are closing right now. So
you heard it first here, folks. Playful's next game is Super Tim Dog's Tales.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Doc could not be here, but hey, you can all find him obviously in Crackdown 3 if you search through it and play through as Agent Bartram. If you find his little DNA orb there, it was really cool that Doc was in the game, and hey, we'll try and get him on as soon as possible.
Hey, at least he'll show up there, right?
We miss you, Doc. Shout out to everybody in the chat too that came by. Peter,
thank you.
Fastback and Monkey Punch and De Niro Primero.
Peter,
thanks everybody for stopping by. Even the former crew with Maka,
Peter,
and, Worry Wart, all fantastic guys. Thank you all for checking out the show. And before you leave, don't forget to check out the website, txrpodcast.com, to stay up to date on all kinds of relevant news relating to the show. And with that said, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.
Deuces.
Later.